CBS 6 has a team live at Longwood University in Farmville for the vice presidential debate, which starts at 9 tonight. Bill Fitzgerald joins us now live with a preview of the big event. Hey, Bill.
Hey, Candace, it's good to hear your voice. We're in the spin room today. I told you about that a little while ago. In fact, the campaigns bring out surrogates or other spokespeople to come, and about every 20 minutes, you'll see a big scrum behind me. Right now, it looks a little quieter than it has been, and you may wonder what kind of news can be made when in fact the big event is still about 3 hours away. But what is remarkable about Longwood University today is the transformation from the remote parking lots to the shuttles that bring you right up to the doorstep here, to the security lines, which were rather speedy. One expects that the Secret Service puts you through the paces, but it all happened very quickly. And then, of course, this room, if you take a look behind me, this is actually the hockey rink. And we're told that by December, late December, it'll be transformed back into a hockey rink. And right next to us, there are several hundred desks, all with Wi-Fi for all the assembled media. The debate hall right next door. It's amazing. It is truly debate central. Now, as I mentioned, the spin room, what is actually going on today? Everybody's basically waiting till 9 o'clock, but I want to bring in our Jake Burns now. And Jake, we were talking about the fact that I think I've heard what they had to say before, what's new here. But in fact, this is a big deal for this part of Virginia.
It really is a huge deal, and this was not an overnight process to convert this room, to convert this entire campus into Debate Central, as Bill mentioned. It's going to be a big deal for this university, even in the future. The legacy, many think, will last in these halls long past tonight. More on that in just a second, but first we want to get to the candidates. Tim Kaine and Mike Pence are both here on the grounds. We know that Tim Kaine, according to sources with his campaign, will focus mostly on policy issues tonight, but they say you can also expect he will go after Donald Trump and Mike Pence, especially Mike Pence's voting record on LGBT issues. Mike Pence, for his part, was in Ashland yesterday. Today, he is preparing in private to make sure that he's ready for tonight. We are told by campaign sources and local GOP officials this will be the very best chance that Virginia voters have to see Mike Pence in his element without the shadow of Donald Trump right next to him. But again, this is a big deal for Longwood University. Pay close attention to the venue later, because this is a legacy building moment for this university and also for this town. We caught up a few moments ago with a Richmond resident and a Longwood graduate to ask him what this moment means for him, and also to ask him what he thinks voters want to hear from the two candidates tonight.
Longwood and Farmville have known such great historic events. We've known the Civil War, we've known civil rights, and for this to come as a next chapter for Longwood, it's incredible.
What do you want to hear from the candidates personally tonight?
One of the best things to hear from them is what their true values are. What do they want to accomplish? How do they want to support their future leaders, our presidents? And eventually, what would they like to see this country become?
So unlike the first presidential debate, Bill, which a lot of people thought was mostly just a lot of yelling at each other, people here really want to hear some policy, and they want to see a vision for America more so than just the spin that's going to happen back behind us.
That's right. All right. Thank you, Jake, for that. And of course, one of the big questions is Virginia's role in all of this. We know that the Hillary Clinton campaign is not doing much work here, believing they've got the campaign in the bag. I'm joined now by our esteemed colleague and political expert, Dr. Bob Holsworth. Bob, we've been talking about Virginia not necessarily in play, but Mike Pence is going to do something to put perhaps Virginia in play and other battleground states.
Well, certainly Donald Trump and Mike Pence want to do this starting this evening, Bill. It looks like the Clintons have a comfortable lead here, but at the same time, you can't be too complacent. Trump is going to do extraordinarily well in rural Virginia, and Virginia is a state with a heavy veteran and military population, and all the polls show that Donald Trump's running very strongly there. He clearly has to do better because Clinton is doing very well in the Richmond suburbs and in Northern Virginia suburbs, but I think the Clinton campaign has to be careful that they don't get too complacent about Virginia right now.
And is it the kind of thing where you don't really want to make news if you're the vice presidential candidate at this debate, or is something big needed to change the flow, the dynamic?
Well, I think Trump in particular wants to change the flow of the dynamic with Mike Pence tonight. What he wants to do is to put a break on this momentum that has been building for Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine since that first debate. And Tim Kaine, I think, is really charged with trying in some some ways to keep that momentum rolling. So I'm expecting actually more fireworks than people have imagined, and I'm expecting it to come early because people are going to be watching the first 15 or 30 minutes of this debate.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Bob, for those insights. And as I mentioned, this is the Spin Room. You can bet that after the debate, this room is going to be extremely active. Now, our coverage doesn't stop here. We'll have more coverage coming up tonight on CBS 6 News at 7 and 11. And, of course, all of our reports will be put online at WTVR.com. So for now, from the Spin Room, where it's going to get very busy in short order, I'll send it back now to the studio to Rob and Candace.